What's up, everybody? We just got through with a 45-minute conversation because Lego's trying to stall without
hang
talking.
on.
Throwing her right under the bus. No, no, it was not her fault. We actually just were talking about a lot of stuff. One thing led to another, and we just kept talking. But here we are. We're finally through. I'm PLD. This is Lego. We are on the PLD Projects Network. You are watching reView. We have 10 episodes left of the 2009 reboot V because we are going through the entirety of the V franchise here. 83, 84, 85, 2009. And we're then going to get past that and move on to some other, hopefully, better stuff to talk about in V. We are in the second season now. We are in the second season, and that should say something. Lego, how are you doing today?
I'm kind of wishing that when it was snowing so hard, the visibility was almost down to nil, that I just walked outside into it, Storm of the Century style, and maybe I would have gotten abducted by a wizard man, vampire wizard man, and lived a fun life with him. Just call me Ralphie.
There you go. All right. I did set you up in a way. We twisted the conversation around. We spent part of our 45-minute discussion discussing half-star films. So we had all this like bad stuff in our mind. So when we go talk about this, maybe in comparison, it would be okay. That's my thought process. We're going to see how it goes. No, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. Okay. I will give it faint praise. I'm going to give it faint praise right off the get. This is better than the last episode.
Yeah, low bar.
But you will admit that it's better. Okay, it's fair.
Yes,
Fair enough.
yes. But it did something that I would say, rule of thumb.
Okay.
As a creator, never remind your audience of something better. And when I'm sitting here watching this, all I could think of is, man, you know what would be great right now? If I stopped watching this and started watching Night of the Comet.
That is actually a very fair point. Because I actually had that thought as well. I watched Night of the Comet. We talked about this when I did it. That was the first time. I don't know if I told you that was the first time I'd actually fully sat down and watched it. I did not like grow up. As you know, it was in the 80s. I never actually watched it until recently. I knew of its existence. I'd seen bits and pieces of it. I sat down and watched it. Loved that movie. I think it's a fun, absolute blast. Something that this show really struggles with. Because that's what it is. It's boring. It's boring. That's part of the problem. I also
serious, but also nonsensical.
Right, and that's the worst combination. Like taking yourself serious is not a bad thing as long as you have the story to back it up. If you don't have the story to back it up, at least you can be silly and fun about it and campy about it. And that's why the 85 series worked better for us, I think, overall, even though like there was a lot of stuff going on. We cursed out a bunch of people every week, Robin, every week. We still had fun with the overall show. We had Ham Tyler to talk about. We had Mark Singer's wacky adventures and his facial expressions, and it was fun to watch. This is not a lot to glom onto. It's funny that you say though about Night of the Comet. It also reminded me of another something which was a better version. It's kind of funny. The beginning of season 2 opens the same way that V the Final Battle opens, with our resistance leader having a dream of their son getting killed by the visitors.
Who?
Are you asking about son Tyler or son Sean that you're questioning? You don't know either.
Unnamed child?
Unnamed child.
Hey, they made a return.
They both.
I was going to say that dream sequence actually reminded me of The Stand. So already I'm just like, I'd almost rather watch The Stand. Although I will say that remake they did of The Stand a few years ago is worse than this.
Ooh, that's harsh. I never had a chance to watch it. I wanted to, but then I did hear some bad things, so it kind of just shot down that list. Sometimes I try not to let people's opinions of things influence me too much. I really don't. Where it influences me sometimes is like the speed at which I watch something. If something comes out and everybody shits off like, oh, this is awful, then I'm kind of like, oh, well, I'm not as in a hurry to watch it. I'll still watch it and give my opinion. Maybe I'll love it, but
this is one of those things where they made a decision in terms of not telling it in a linear fashion, but breaking it up by character and telling it out of sequence.
Oh, that seems
And
overly complicated.
it takes all of the tension out. So like it'll start like an episode will start where we're already at Boulder, Colorado. And then it'll go back to a little before Captain Tricks and work up to Captain Tricks. And it's like, but I already know they're Boulder.
Right.
And then the next episode will be like, okay, now we're gonna see how this character went through that. And it's like, why?
That's
But I
overly
see that
complex.
character interact with that character at Boulder.
Right, right.
And
I
then
mean,
I hated I like the actor. He was also in It. Jason Teague maybe is his name.
okay, yeah.
And he plays the annoying boy who really likes the girl Molly Ringwald played.
Yeah,
I'm not great with character names or in general. But that guy, the annoying guy, and he in this character is just insufferable to watch. And then they had Ezra Miller as the trash can man wearing this kind of inappropriate outfit and like gyrating, and I'm like, I actually just can't watch this. I'm this is like X-rated. I don't think I'm comfortable watching this on screen. No, I didn't finish it. I'm told the last episode was decent, but like you got to really work to get there. And I'm like, this is just not good. I would say the only good part about it is Hamish Linklater, because Hamish Linklater is phenomenal in everything you
like
think.
him.
And but it's not a saving grace.
Okay, that's fair. I'm looking at it now. It's Harold Laudner's the name of the character. And
Yes,
I do have to call you out on something though. You said actor Jason Teague. It's Owen Teague.
Owen Teague.
Jason Teague is the character that Dean Winchester plays in Smallville.
Yes, that's true.
That's why that sounded familiar to me.
What I did. I watched Supernatural the very day it aired, and every single episode, every single week, I found a way to watch it, whether or not I had cable. I figured out a way.
And he goes to Smallville, gets a star. But I'm looking at this cast list. I'm like actually liking some of the cast.
The cast is phenomenal. It's just
Alexander Skarsgård as Randall Flagg. That could be interesting. I like Alexander Skarsgård.
All of these things were good choices, but editing can make or break. And this, I would say, broke. I'm assuming most people dislike it for that reason.
That's fair.
The editing.
Also some questionable choices. Ezra Miller. Okay. Amber Heard. A lot of controversy in that cast as well, but okay.
Well, we don't need to get into the misogynist underbelly that 5 years later, I think, hopefully 5, maybe more like 10 years later, we'll be looking back at certain things and maybe having a Britney Spears-esque realization that perhaps we were misogynist a-holes about a situation, especially looking at what happened with Blake Lively and knowing that same company was hired to do a smear campaign on Amber Heard and also figure out what Darvo is, people. Thank you for your time. But that's neither here nor there. That's just like an entirely different thing.
I will give you that platform. You have fun talk. That's fine. I think they're both pains in the asses, so I'm not going to. I think everybody's a pain in the ass. That's my thought process. I believe everybody's guilty.
That's fine.
That's what I say.
That's fair. That is fair. I think whoever did the costumes on Ezra Miller should really rethink their life choices. Okay. And whoever okayed it should do the same.
I almost want to see that costume now just to make sure, but okay.
I'm definitely making it worse in my memory. That's 100% a thing that's happening, but it was something where I was watching it where I'm like, oh, why? And whatever movement he was making, oh no. I'm physically uncomfortable.
Fair. I mean, speaking of, we mentioned good performances and good performers in shitty shows. This is, again, I would think we had good performers in this one as well. I think we had some good performances.
This show is making me rethink whether or not these people are good actors.
That's bad. I think they had I still think they have some good moments. I really think it's been difficult for them to shine at the times because the writing gets so strange. That's the problem here to me. So, we had the opening sequence, which was obviously a dream. Because we knew, I mean, it wasn't like I don't know if they were trying to trick us or not, but they were trying to trick us that it was real, then they failed pretty miserably.
I really hope it was intended to be like, this is an obvious dream sequence.
But that's the problem with the show is that we don't know. We don't know for sure what the intent was. Red Rain, this was called, obviously the follow-up from Red Sky. We left last episode with Anna having her human emotion outburst, which is your new favorite thing now. She has human emotions.
I can't believe I did that.
Yes, Lego went out in the real world and said someone had human emotion. And was it negative the way you said it, or was it a positive the way you said it? That's the question.
I was in the elevator with someone. He was in my building, and he was having trouble with the elevator because sometimes it gets if you're trying to go. It's in. We have a floor on the elevator opens on both sides, and it opens on the opposite side in between 1 and 2, and sometimes it gets stuck. But if it gets stuck, then you have to walk outside and back around. It's like it's really cold here, so it's like obviously you don't want to do that. And he was having trouble getting the doors to stay closed, so it'll go back down to 1. It's a bit of a tricky. You got to know what you're doing. You got to hit the buttons right.
Gotcha, right.
And I looked over, I'm like, you're experiencing some real human emotions.
Thank you, V. Thank you.
No.
No. For getting
This
new
is
vernacular.
not. I will break my body to commit to a bit. This was not my committing to a bit. This is just that sentence was floating around, or that phrase rather, was floating around in my brain, and it came out of my mouth unwillingly.
It has just sunk into your soul. Yeah.
Terrible.
Either way, Anna showed human emotion at the end of the last episode, exploded out, and started the red sky process, which we don't know what it is. Although we did, I will give the show a little bit of not credit's the wrong word, but a little bit of a nod of faint praise. In that I think we finally actually got small answers, more answers than we have gotten yet. And like, if you ask me now, what are the visitors here for? I think I mostly confidently say terraforming and breeding.
Okay, here's the thing. I've seen Village of the Damned.
I have as well.
I don't remember the original. My brain goes to the John Carpenter one because obviously John Carpenter. So I'm just like, could we not have just done Village of the Damned?
Yeah, that could work. That could have worked for sure.
I don't love the evil kids trope, but
it's a solid one though. It is.
I mean, if they're blonde, I believe it.
Is that what it is? It's the blonde that gets you every time. Well, Erica's blonde, so maybe she's an adult, so maybe she had it, but her son's not blonde. So that kind of throws it out of whack for you. So, but what did you think?
I'm not saying evil is exclusive to blondes. I'm just saying all blondes are evil.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. We definitely needed that for sure.
I'm here for it.
Blondes, you can see her social there, the YouTube at Legoland13. You can go comment on those if you'd like.
Blonde children. I think some might grow out of it.
You might.
Some.
Okay. All right.
Some.
What did you think about that idea? The idea that we actually do have some. Do you have the answers? Is that answers that we've been looking for? At least, whether you like,
I would take it as that is the answer that we've been looking for. We now know season 2, episode 1, why they're here. I don't know why they were waiting. Question mark on that one. I'm a little. You ever watch something and you're like, oh, you're gonna try and handle this theme? Okay.
And they can't quite do it.
Okay.
Or can't do it at all.
Oh God. I know.
Okay. All right.
But at first I was like, I thought they just wanted to terraform the planet. Right. And then I was gonna say that sounds so funny because it just makes me think of the Man of Steel movie, where I'm like, I don't know if this makes sense or not, but like, let's just get a skybeam in here. Let's just go for it.
Well, maybe the Man of Steel's not too far away from this. Maybe Man of Steel. Why? Maybe Jonathan Nolan who co-wrote it. Maybe he watched the video, was a fan. Maybe that's what it all started with. Who knows?
No, I'm too afraid to talk about that movie. Have people come around to hating it yet?
Me? No, I love it so. I still love it. I love it as, I will say this real quickly though. I want to say this. First of all, I don't like Zack Snyder's fans at all, generally speaking. I do like Zack Snyder's as a filmmaker in terms of, especially his visuals. I think his visuals are really, really great. I love his visuals. I understand why people hate his storytelling. I get that for sure. I watched Man of Steel and like it as kind of an Elseworlds character, an Elseworlds choice. And I don't see that as a good Superman per se. but I do like it as a what if Superman, like an
I had a
alternate
lot of
Superman.
issues with the technicals. If he can
Okay.
breathe in space, why do they have to terraform anything? It doesn't make any sense. I'll die on the hill. But that's fine.
Storytelling, like I said, storytelling, I can get gripes with it. But I digress. I like some of the big picture stuff. I like the idea of superheroes as gods and that kind of thing. And that I've always liked but then I've always loved religious stuff as far as in films. I don't love religion. I hate religion. My least favorite thing. But I grew up as a Catholic. I'm a recovering Catholic, so I was steeped in Catholic lore and mystery and stuff. So I kind of do have a certain affinity for it as
Do
far
they
as
have Catholics
fictional.
Anonymous?
That's
Because I
fictional.
think all those anonymous things are run by churches, so
I
probably
wouldn't be
not.
surprised. No, probably not. Although maybe there are. Maybe there are. I don't know.
Hmm.
But I like it fictionally. So I like that. That's what we can do it. So that's why I kind of maybe like that aspect of it potentially. But I digress. We're getting to Man of Steel now. We're talking about every other show that's related to it. So
I'm not doing it on purpose. That's
at
a
all.
lie. Can you see my nose growing visually? Because I think it's happening.
All right, I'm bringing us back again. All right, so we have our reasons, at least partially. This is something that we should have found out probably in the first 3 or 4 episodes. There's this much information we should have known by now for sure.
And also, this probably should have happened if that's the case, because otherwise, why are they taking so long?
Yeah, I don't understand what the wait is. I agree, the waiting aspect, because like Marcus made a big deal about, oh my God, we started this so soon. We started this too soon. If it is terraforming, then why not start it right away? Why not get
but
into it?
to go back to my bit, okay, free healthcare, clean energy, bringing back the dead life forms like plants and stuff to help regrow things, cleaning up the environment,
We don't
eradicating pollution.
know that that's the case. That's what they're telling us.
Oh,
We
that's
don't.
I mean, that's not what phosphorus does specifically, but like it does create an environment to help grow.
Okay, if they're saying tech
I
stuff that
mean,
I
it
don't know
wouldn't
about, then that's
eradicate
fine.
pollution, but I'm sure it's not simply just phosphorus. I'm sure it's some sort of mixture of
Right.
chemicals or whatever. I'm not a chemist.
Okay.
But basically it's what they've created, I'm assuming, is Miracle Grow, and it looks like blood. So it makes me think of it Elizabeth Bathory. I won't get too far into that because we'll be here for a real long time if I do. But there is a sort of like vampire-esque
Okay.
imagery happening of like this blood red rain is creating life.
Okay.
I like that. I mean, it is a good visual.
That
But I don't know if we just eliminated the creepy breeders aspect.
You're
I
still for
think I'm
them.
on their side.
You're still for them. We do have the creepy breeders aspect. And we do have that other bit, the liveaboards that are getting all the needlework done, basically treating them like a crocheting kit. I don't know we don't know what that's about yet, because that doesn't seem to be breeding, but maybe it is. It feels like that's something that's still a mystery for us. Like we know they're
Yeah,
torturing
why
the
are they torturing
liveaboard,
people?
but what are they doing? What are they getting out of it? Is it like are they connecting it to they're doing experiments on them to find out if they are breedable? Maybe that's the case, but
It
otherwise,
really did not seem like that.
no. Because they're just
And also, how did they get survivors?
yeah. That's a great question too. Well, the survivors are just people he talked to. I don't know if he talked to them. It looks like they got off the ship, which is the weird part.
That's what I'm saying. How were
Yeah.
there survivors?
Right. I mean, you
To
don't
talk
remember. It's
to.
all because they were all dreams. They were all dreams that they had. That's what Chad said at one point.
They brought a man back from the dead. You can't eradicate a memory.
Yeah, I get they brought
That
something back
part to
from the
me
dead.
was just very dumb.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's kind of a dumb thing. Absolutely, it's a dumb thing. But that's what
And
they're
there's
putting
no
forth.
I don't know, whatever the equivalent to Pizzagate is with the V's. There's no like underground, not even like fifth column, but there's no even like a stoner, just like, I don't know about them aliens, man. Like the aliens are weird, man. This is why they had to put it in New York.
That's what it was. That's what
Because
they
if it
can
was
do.
in LA, we would just have too many surfers out there. Like, not into it, man.
Not
Not into
into
it,
it.
man.
Not into it. All right, that's fair. All right, so we do have the 3 ideas, though. We do have the terraforming, the breeding. The breeding was touched on in multiple with multiple cases. They have the Ryan Val kid, and we have the Anna whoring out Lisa to Tyler to try to get them together somehow. Why Tyler? We still have no idea. Why Tyler? I wish
we already know.
he's the main character because the main character's kid. Is that the only reason why?
Oh, didn't Erica already talk about it?
She did talk a little bit about it, like that Erica had, like that Erica was experimented on, maybe. Like she had high amounts of phosphorus in her blood. So
yeah, so what I'm assuming is they've already come here and done this to some women, and that their kids will be more likely to be able to have lizard babies. And I'm assuming this is something that, no, I don't know. Because I was thinking maybe it was something that it would need to be maybe like a boy to get a female visitor pregnant, and it didn't necessarily need to go the other way around for human women, for a male V to get a human woman pregnant.
right.
But now I'm thinking like, no, they didn't establish that. That's just in my mind. Never mind.
Although it would make sense because they were more surprised that Val got pregnant, it felt like, from Ryan than they would be from the other way around. It is interesting. I will say the idea of Erica's pregnancy opens up a can of worms. And if I had more confidence in them, I would say I like the idea of how they dripped that out a little bit today, because if I had confidence in their storytelling abilities, how that mystery could be unfolded could be kind of cool. I don't, so I'm kind of thinking it's not going to get solved in any kind of meaningful way. Because there's a way I thought about it. My one interpretation when I watched it was like, if she has phosphorus in her blood, was Joe a V, and was Tyler like half already a hybrid V somehow? Because they kept mentioning, because they kept telling us like that Val needed phosphorus in her blood to carry a V.
Yeah, but he didn't think that was his kid because of the DNA test.
Right,
the
right.
DNA test, and turns out I'm 100% my mom's child. What
You're
the?
right. Right. You're right. But basically that Tyler was maybe a
But
hybrid.
I had thought that too previously, because I maybe looked a little bit ahead on the old IMDb. But and I think that would have been a much more interesting story.
I agree. That's what I kind of hoped they would lure it that way. It could even be like a visitor dressed up in a Joe suit, and that's why Erica didn't cheat on him. Or
Well, all the
thing,
visitors are dressed up in people suits.
Well, yeah, but like
Oh
specifically,
my God, this is very Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing that stupid human suit?
That's fair. That's a good point. Oh God, if you haven't watched Donnie Darko, go ahead and do that for sure. That's a banger.
Everyone's seen Donnie Darko.
I don't know. No, the box office would say otherwise, but
oh, that's not a movie that had a big box office. You know what's interesting is when people talk about like box office, and it's like a movie has the opportunity to have a box office for like what, 3 months, and then it exists for the span of forever for people to watch. You know, I think it's very popular, right?
It's definitely I think it's considered a cult classic. I think I could be wrong. Maybe people like it more than I.
My generation is just like in love with it.
Yeah, absolutely. This could be
like I don't think I've met people who've never watched Star Wars. I don't think I've met anyone that's not seen Donnie Darko.
Wow, that blows my mind, because like I don't.
Oh, I got a terrible, hilarious story about that.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough to me. You're gonna break my heart, for sure. But back to our pregnant or our breeding people. Let's try A for effort. Ryan breaks free from captivity, goes to see his baby, and this is one of my least favorite lines of the show, and I'm glad that they didn't present it like the answer. The fact that Ryan literally comes out to Anna and says, "The reason why Val was able to get pregnant from me was because of something you don't understand, love."
I feel like he's supposed to be Donovan, and it's not working
at all. Erica's actually a much better Donovan than he is. Erica's a Donovan Julie combo. I feel like, in a way, like
I feel like she's just Julie, and he's just definitely Donovan.
Maybe. I always thought that Jack was supposed to be Donovan in a way, but like a more like.
No, I don't really feel like there's a comparable person.
Unconfident Donovan kind of thing. A Donovan without the. I actually funny. I think part of that is because Joel Gretsch kind of I can see some similarities how he looks to Mark Singer, kind of.
Is it because they're both blonde?
Maybe that's what it is. But
The
all right.
PLD, you do it too.
I guess I do. I'm blondest, as it were. All right. So Ryan breaks free. We have this weird conversation, and then Anna lets him go. Anna lets him go back down to the or back down to Earth. I guess it makes sense that she could try to track him and try to use him to get the fifth column, but like I don't see at the end where like she's tracking him at all.
It didn't seem like it came into play whatsoever.
Right. Like when she says it and goes, I'm leaving him, I'm like, okay, get that. That's kind of cool. But then like I'm watching the rest of the movie, they better come back into play, because if it doesn't, it's so like there's no reason otherwise to let him go. Why would you let him go?
She should have killed them both and kept the alien baby.
Yes, that honestly makes the most sense. She does. I mean, I would understand her keeping him alive because he successfully impregnated Val. So keep him to experiment on him and see what. I mean, I know she did all these tests and everything else. She says that's a mark. I did all the tests and couldn't find anything. Well, something is up. So you don't just let. I mean, listen. Unless your thought is you want him to go down
to dissect him.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's like a Chucky thing. The longer that they're in the human skin, the more like it becomes their own.
Oh, could be. I mean, it's organic. It does make sense. Like he makes it mention that way. He talks to the.
Although I have inappropriate. Listen, it was their choice to make it about this. I have some questions in terms of anatomy.
Okay, let's do it.
Like, do they have the same sort of how shall I put this? So when a man and a woman want to make a baby, we know she's a human being, so she probably came with a vagina. I assume.
Yeah.
But do lizards have a penis?
Well, I would assume he's got to, because otherwise she would have had a lot of questions herself.
But then that wouldn't be like him producing sperm. That would be something that would exist as a part of the organic fake
meat suit.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe the meat suit is actually more alive than we think it is. Maybe it's got actual functioning.
But then still, that wouldn't be his sperm. That would just be something that was created by the suit.
Unless the suit is drawing from him.
So does it go inside of him?
Maybe it does. Maybe it connects into him. That's why you rip it off. It's kind of like connected to him. Maybe it's possible. I kind of like that, to be honest. That's actually kind of interesting, at least to me.
Have you watched Ted Lasso?
Oh, of course, yes.
So I'm thinking of the episode where they have the strings tied around. I'm just like, what happens if you pull? I mean, so I guess the skin suit isn't like a condom, which I've joked about before.
Right.
Which it's more like attaching into them.
It must
I mean, you don't. I won't get too. I watched a documentary about it. A trans man who'd had an operation. It's a whole big thing. But from where we were at in terms of like what we could do technologically at that point,
right,
wasn't super great. So it was just a lot of like kind of like botched surgeries, and very unfortunate for that poor man to go through. But how I got that in my head, like, did they have to go through a whole bunch of like experimentation on how to properly get this situated so that they could, but for why? To urinate? To potentially reproduce?
Well, they are breeding. That's part of the concept of what they want. So that could
but at that time they weren't. They just came to do that now.
We don't know that though. Maybe that was the plan all along. Like they're just coming
but
to
it was
do
clearly
it
it wasn't, because Anna's the leader and she's like, she's pregnant. You're the first one. And I'm mad about it, and I'm gonna sue your baby.
But maybe they are preparing for it, and she's mad that they got it done without her being in charge of it, like without the.
I don't quite feel like I understand Anna's discontent with this, other than like fifth column, but like for the existence of the baby. I don't know where she stands on that.
I think she's okay with the baby. She just doesn't want the complications of having a loving father that might take her away from him. Or whatnot. She just wants control of the baby, I think, and be the she's used to being the mother to everybody, and Ryan doesn't want her to be the mother of his child because he already
And
had
maybe I missed it. Is the baby in the vat of green oil for a reason?
That I don't know. Kind of like the back to tank from Star Wars. That's why I looked at it like it's healing her or something. I don't know. Is it testing her? It doesn't make any sense because I don't. Unless maybe that's what they do when the young child is a visitor. Or I don't know. Maybe that's.
So do they not breathe oxygen? Like
Well, it's
they're underwater lizards? They have gills?
maybe they have gills. Maybe they have both. Maybe they're whatever. And there's some that do both, right? They can possibly be doing both.
Are they alligators?
It could be. Could be. Maybe they only breathe air when they have their meat suits on, which would actually be a reason for them to keep their meat suits on, even in in with everybody else. I remember we had that question in like the 1985 show, like why'd you bother doing
Okay,
that?
we need to just cut right to the point where Anna peels the face off that one guy. And what is she talking to? The captains of the other ships?
Yeah, the captains who came to threaten her basically because they were worried about her, or kind of like, I don't know, worried about her emotions.
And clearly they were right to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so she rips the face off one of them.
Which is, by the way, I want to say before you go any further, I want to complain about that. Is again, we are in season 2. This is the most fullest we have seen of a visitor. Like,
and also, it looks really different than what we saw in season 1 in parts.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so when it rips the skin off, can I just say, first and foremost, that what he's got going on under there does not conform to a human face. So it doesn't make sense that went on over, particularly the eye area. At least in the original, they had context and they kind of was vaguely the same shape. Here is not even close. The eye is like here.
Huge, right? It's this huge eye.
How did that
I don't know. That's a good question. And like the nose is flat, like the nose is like coming out. I guess that's actually kind of like your penis question as well. Like, are they functioning? Like the function nose, like I agree. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't. It's weird. It's a weird, strange thing. And I kept going back to that as well. And your penis question, I'm kind of like, well, that's when she's handling that. Is it like actually part of him or not, or is it just like a appendage that's not actually doing it? Like, I don't know.
And then last season when Ryan took a contacts out to like show his alien eye, but now we know clearly like that's not what they look like or shaped like. It was just bafflingly stupid.
Maybe that's
the
the
laziness involved in it was.
That's the captains only. I mean, the captain is not just the captain of the ship. The captain is actually the species. There's like the tracker, the soldier, and the captain. The captains have different facials than the other. I'm totally making something up now. I do appreciate your evil eye.
But for this to be like the full face reveal, it was bad.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I'm happy it happened, but like it should have happened before this. And secondly, you're right. It was very CGI looking and very shitty. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. So much.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as Ryan's baby. But it was bad.
Right there. Yeah, it's bad. It's not good. It's not good. But I don't know. I agree though. It is kind of off. And I will say I did like the follow up. I got the fact that she goes nuts on him. That was kind of a cool thing with the tail. Although I did find it humorous how she did it. Like she had like the whole like.
It was so visually dumb looking.
Stiff armed, like best part about it was Marcus looking turned on afterwards.
I think would have been better is just her walking away and the tail just slicing his throat as she walked away from him.
Yes, that would have been badass. This was like this weird, like I'm using my shoulders to do this.
I'm telling you.
Red pen.
You got to get a script doctor. Carrie Fisher would have made this great.
Damn right. Well, Carrie Fisher makes anything great. That's absolutely true. Did you take any umbrage, totally jumping off track here now, the fact they have only been here for 2 months? Doesn't it?
I don't know, time. I'm fine with it. Okay. Did it seem like it should have been more like 6? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. But like, 2 months can be a long time. 2 months can be a short time. It depends what's happening.
Maybe it's because the show is taking a lot longer to get going. I'm kind of like, it feels like they've been here forever. But 2 months threw me off. I'm like, okay, use 6 months. Just say 6 months. It makes it feel much better. Okay. Anna's silence after Red Sky.
Are you sure it wasn't called Red Dawn?
It should be. That's speaking of superior products. At least the 80s version. I don't think I ever saw the remake, so I couldn't comment on that.
I saw it in theater.
The remake?
Uh-huh.
And?
It exists.
Okay. So that's kind of what I expected.
Like most remakes in that era, it's fine.
It was like what, mid 2010s? It was like 2013 around there, was it? I can't remember when it was now.
That sounds about right. 2012, 2013.
Liam Hemsworth, right? That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay. All right, fair.
And in that film, his brother is Josh Peck.
Of Drake and Josh.
And Josh. It's not gonna be mean, but it's like sometimes when you see people being cast, and you're like, casting director.
That seems like maybe they're going after his kind of name, but like that's not the name you should get for the kind of movie you're looking for. You're not going after his Nickelodeon audience. I don't think he had an audience beyond Nickelodeon at that point. He has kind of had a, I don't want to say successful career. No, he has gotten into other things.
He works.
He works, and he's transitioned into like a more adult actor now, as it is. But at the time, I don't think that works for casting. But when I worked for him, he was probably psyched to get something outside of that realm. Again, I digress. I congratulate you for getting me off track. I will always bring it back. So only 2 months. Red Dawn, Red Sky. Yes, Red Sky, Red Rain, and a silence. Why? Like, I don't understand. Like, she says she needs to get proof that it was working. I didn't even understand what
I don't know what proof she's looking for. She needed to get proof of something before she did this.
It was 4 days. What kind of scientific proof could she have gotten in 4 days anyway? Like, I feel like that's, maybe I'm wrong, but like, if you release something in the air like this, I kind of have a feeling it would take more than 4 days to get any kind of like tangible results. I mean, I guess it's sci-fi.
I gotta say, you had more of a grip on that than I did. I thought she was saying she needed proof of something like government documents. I had no idea what she was talking about.
Like it mentioned, I think it was proof of that it was working, that it was beneficial to humans.
Because I thought it didn't do anything until it started raining.
Right, that's what I thought
too. Like the activation.
Okay, maybe the rain gives it instantaneous. I don't know. It was very strange for me. It feels like they needed an excuse to have the people rioting in the begining, and then are so easily turned off from the rioting.
Because that's how people work. We're really mad about this, but you explained it, so now we believe you. That's how people work.
We love you again. What the hell was that?
They will definitely turn on someone and then turn right back around, as case after case after case study can show.
That was really dumb. You know what else was dumb? I think this couples with the 2-month thing for me. They did this like montage that was like kind of like, where are we now? Jack at the church again. By the way, Jack back at the church, even though he left the church. Like, I felt like he was supposed to be leaving the church. Still at the church. Hobbs arming himself.
That was before the sky turned red, and it's raining blood. Revelations, it's raining blood. I don't know if that's in Revelations, but I'm gonna go with it because I needed that many syllables. I went to the Weird Al School of Music.
That's a very good school of music. Weird Al and his band are phenomenal. They can do any genre and make it sound genuine.
That is truth, accurate, no lies detected.
You're doing it again, and you're doing a good job.
Favorite Weird Al song? Go.
That's a good question. I'm a Queen fan, so I like Into Another One Rides the Bus. That's one of the original OG Al version, but I kind of have a soft spot for You Don't Love Me Anymore off the Deep End album. It was like the video was a play on extremes more than words. The black and white acoustic thing, but the song was not. It was an original, but I really like that. That or Since You've Been Gone, which is the acapella thing he did, like a doo-wop acapella. I like his original stuff pretty cool. I'm also a sucker for his polka. I have like a playlist of all his polka medleys because they rock. You favorite Weird Al?
I'm completely blanking on the name of the song. Because I'm what's in my mind. I'm like, that can't be what it's called. The Michael Jackson one he did.
Oh, Eat It.
Yes, Eat
Eat
It.
It. Okay, that's good. That's good too. Solid, very solid.
In fact, if I ever hear the Michael Jackson version, I just sing his.
I forgot. You put me in the spot. I did forget. As a Star Wars guy, I do love Yoda to Lola, which he closes with his concert. That's pretty fun. So.
Yes, he had one. I can't remember the name of the song, but the music video, he's wearing like a like a tinfoil hat. And he's singing about like being paranoid. It's very funny. It's kind of newer.
Oh, yes, I do know what that one is actually. I know what it is. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but
I'm a very visual person. I could tell you what music videos look like, but if you want a name of a song,
can't do it. Okay,
although pretty fly for a white guy one he did. What is that one called?
That's Pretty Fly for a Rabbi.
Yes,
it's
funny.
That's good. It's good. Fine, we're back. Good job. I have to appreciate your skills.
I do still need to watch his movie though, the UHF one. I'm told I'll like it.
You will. You would definitely like that. I think knowing you, I think you'd absolutely like it. So back to V. Stop it, Lego. Stop it. You're being very bad.
But it's for the bit. I'm gonna watch the next Friday, not Friday, Nightmare on Elm Street you do and like clock PJ and see how long he'll get you off topic. I got competition.
It is a good vet, and I love bits, so that's why it makes it good for me. But all right. Anyway, they had like this montage of where we are now. Jack and Hobbs arming himself, and I felt like this should have been in like a sequel, or like we just saw the characters not that long ago. I know, like there's a break between seasons, but it felt so like weird to me, and it felt like they were getting ready to do something big, but all they were doing was reacting to it. But at the same time, I went back and kind of felt like it almost tried to were they trying to copy the original V when they were all sitting around the TV figuring out what was going on. It just kind of bothered me. I don't know what it was about maybe it's the visuals, the editing style from it. I didn't like it. Maybe I'm just talking my butt. Do you know what I'm talking about? Am I making
No, I did not notice this whatsoever.
I mean, it was quick.
This episode twice.
It felt like they were just like, we have to show this character because we haven't shown him yet. We have to show Jack now. We have to show Hobbs now.
That's what a lot of this show feels like.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay, what else we got? We got the Chad storyline. Chad has finally decided to shit or get off the pod. I don't know which one you want to go with, but he made his decision. It seems like after he has video interviews with survivors from the Liverpool program, he has decided to go. I feel
like they've had this same conversation 3 times,
right?
And they 4 times if you count the 2 times they had it in this episode.
Twice in the same episode, right?
So 4 times.
I think the 4th time was like we are definitively telling you this time that he's not, because every other time he kind of had this moment of I'm actually maybe doing this for my own benefit, but this was like they're trying to double down, and he is turning into a good guy now, and he has to earn his stripes and earn his redemption. Because only God can forgive him, as Jack says, but he might be able to earn his redemption if he does stuff that's trustworthy or something. I don't
feel
know.
like it was so dumb to be like, you're asking for forgiveness, so I'm not going to help you. Or, dude, take his help.
You need all the help
you
get. Absolutely.
That's like I'll watch a movie or TV show and someone will do something really awful and then try to like donate money, and the person's like, I don't want your blood money. No,
take the blood money. You need the money. You need this guy. They even say it, like, you need somebody he's that close to Anna. He is that much of you need the inside baseball people, and he is inside baseball. I get being skeptical of him. That's cool. Be that, but like take advantage of it.
Although Jack is just way too trusting.
That's true. Jack is way too trusting. Jack is, unfortunately.
I mean, honestly, he should just have Chad deal with Hobbs and leave it be.
That would be it.
Because
Well,
like Chad couldn't get one over on Hobbs.
true.
And if he screwed him over, Hobbs would just kill him.
Yeah, I don't know. Hobbs would just kill him anyway. Honestly, Hobbs would probably like, yeah, we don't need this guy. But well,
No, I think Hobbs would use him. Hobbs seems
no,
like a manipulator.
that's true. We didn't really get more of that Hobbs is working with Marcus thing. That nothing really came from that yet. Still, correct? I didn't miss that, did I? I might have missed that. To be honest with you, I didn't see anything
Nothing.
with it. Okay, nothing.
What was even the point? I wonder if
far.
they forgot about it.
They might
I
have.
still have no idea what's up with Marcus. I don't know what that man's goal is.
And yeah, and honestly, in a better written show, that wouldn't be a bad thing. I feel like that could
Yeah.
be a cool thing. Like, oh,
Well, because the thing is, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to think something's up with him or not.
that's the problem. We had the stuff with Hobbs. We had that scene with Joshua, the end of the episode where he woke Joshua up, and it kind of felt. I know you said it didn't work for you, or it didn't mean that to you, but to me, I kind of felt like it was like this potentially weird thing, as if he was working behind Anna's back. He does work behind Anna's back a little bit with the captains, but then like he's won over when Anna starts acting all. This is the weird part about this. If we're supposed to follow what they're showing us, Marcus is mad or Marcus is skeptical of Anna's leadership because she had this big human emotion of outburst or whatever. But yet his response to her being cold and cruel and capricious and killing the soldiers and killing the captain is to like smile and smirk and be happy about it, which is a human emotion. So unless you're going to the point of that Marcus is also doing human emotions and not recognizing it, it all gets to be too complex at this point. Like, is emotion bad, or is anger and hatred, are they good emotions for the visitor? I don't know.
Yeah, like what counts as an emotion?
Right. We don't know. They don't know. I think it got to the point where like Marcus doesn't. I don't think the writers know, and the actors sure as hell don't know. But at some point, an actor has to show something besides stoic face. Like, how long can he go? It's like, does it work? Does it work? It becomes a very boring show very quickly. I digress again. I don't know about Marcus.
Okay, so I just looked him up on the V Wiki. Okay. I am now fully informed.
Okay, you spoiled yourself. Okay.
No, because they're like, well, it could have been this, and he seems murky.
So they don't.
It's unclear if. Oh, so like the people who wrote the wiki don't know either.
They were going to answer in season 3.
But it does seem I did get a little bit of a spoiler in relation to like his relation to Diana.
Okay, all right, we'll get there. Let's leave that then. That's not.
I can't because it's not revealed.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But he could possibly be related to.
Potentially.
Once again, we don't know.
We don't know. So again, I guess I would like that. It would be kind of a cool concept if done right. But we don't know. So he's just kind
and we'll
of
never know.
No, we'll never know, and that's the problem.
As it turns out.
Speaking of what we'll never know, and then we have Joshua back.
Who?
But,
no, I know.
You got it. Okay. Our 5th columnist who was killed by Erica and then brought back to life, and now I guess has his mind erased.
Boring. Just move on, plot. I hate this plot.
Yes, me too.
This is so. It's cliche. It's just bad. Like a soap can do it. A soap is allowed to do it. UV are no soap.
85V could do it. Could have handled it.
85V could do it.
Right. Like, I legitimately did not like Joshua getting killed at the end of the episode because I thought Joshua had the potential to have one of the more interesting storylines, possibly. But then you bring him back and he's no one again, then it just becomes okay. So we know where this is going to go. He's going to actually learn to be human again, or he's going to be turning Lisa in. And those are the only 2 places to go. And it just feels like an unnecessary block at this point.
Does this feel like a Martin to you?
I think they want him to be Martin and Philip. Now, like they're brought back to life.
Martin and Philip, yes.
Okay. It basically is. Like Phil is without having a twin. Joshua is
We
Philip
think
now.
they thought about doing a twin.
That's an
Like,
too
you think they
cheesy.
said, like, there was a conversation in the writer's room, and they're like, okay. So, like, in the original, which we didn't watch, we reread some of the scripts for it briefly. He dies. It's very sad. And then his twin comes. Should we do that? Twin? Everyone?
Yeah.
Twin? No, we're not liking twin. All right, so we're just gonna kill him off. We could bring him back. All right, resurrection.
Bad guy. Now he's a bad guy again. Oh, I like that.
Well, he's not a bad guy. He's just emotionless. I think.
Well, he's on the bad guy team now, though. Our bad guys. That's what the writers are saying, because the V's are the bad guys. Remember,
I mean,
we don't know why, but they are the bad guys.
Is he? Does he have his memories wiped or his emotions? Because those are two different things, and I wonder if the show understands that.
I don't think they do.
A doctor.
I think he is still a doctor.
Some medical training.
I think he's still a doctor. I thought he got his mind wiped as far as like his memories of like the past, whatever.
Yeah,
because you're right. There are different things. I think there's emotion wipe, there's mind wipe, and then there's like mind wipe from where the emotion
We're just going to erase the fact that you betrayed us.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you're right up, and
you're going to keep that medical training, though. Right. We paid for that.
You know what? That's actually that is exactly what a corporation would do. So absolutely, I totally see that.
I feel like we're getting into Severance territory, but like done way worse.
Right. Maybe Severance was a big V fan. They wanted to like do it. Like, we can do this. We can do this. We're gonna use Joshua as our inspiration.
Oh dear God, and that's so rude to Severance.
It is. I've not watched anything of Severance season 2. I love season 1, but
I only watched what I saw my roommate watching as I walked around.
Okay, that's fair. It's very good. The first season's very good. It's complex. You can't get much out of it from walking around. It's one of those shows.
It does not seem like something I would watch.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, I appreciate well done shows, but I need something lighthearted.
Yeah, definitely.
Besides, I already basically do that. I keep work and life very separate.
You are the Severance. You've lived Severance, so okay.
Exactly. Except now, wonderfully, I can use that as a show to explain that to people.
Oh.
When I make that joke, now people understand it better. Less words are required.
I like that. Good for you. Good for you. So it is successful for you, even if you don't care about the show itself. Lisa, I will say about the Joshua mind wipe.
In this episode,
very little, but she was effective. She was actually my favorite. Again, I'll give her credit. She has.
Yeah. I think her plot is the best.
It is the most interesting, and she has performed admirably in her plot, for sure. Because in fact, I got the most out of her. I was about to say, the one positive thing about the Joshua mind wipe thing was that when Lisa starts trying to talk to him, I felt her feelings of isolation and being alone and not knowing where else to turn, because she has turned to human emotion. She has Erica, but Erica's not on the ship. So who can she turn to on the ship now? At least when she had Joshua there, she kind of had that buddy that she could at least like better. Now she's by herself again, and she is a young teen kind of impressionist who doesn't have anybody. That's a scary proposition. So again, good for storytelling and good for things like that. So good job, Laura Bennett. I apologize. I apologize
as
again.
You should.
I can admit when I'm wrong. Although I will say I wasn't wrong up until I turned. It wasn't when she wasn't doing anything for me until I made that turn. But I will give credit where credit's due now. Speaking of Elisa, though, we did have more of the mother versus mother angle that they really want to go for. In fact, Erica uses Tyler's injury in the riot to bring him up on board to see Anna.
It's raining blood. Tyler, it's raining blood.
Tyler gets a little smack on the head, and oh my God, we can't handle this on Earth. I got to go up to Anna's ship.
Oh, well, okay, hang on. I'm going to stop you there, PLD. First of all, head trauma is nothing to laugh at. I say this as someone who's had more than one concussion. Not a good thing to do. Secondly, heads do bleed a lot. Got a lot of blood vessels up in there. No joke. And thirdly, and I cannot stress this, I'm seeing you some of these things, but just let me get this one last joke out there.
Go ahead.
Free healthcare.
The last one actually makes the most sense. I am just saying, I am not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm saying like the little knock that he got does not need to go up to the mothership for in the heated
But
situation
PLD,
that
that
we are
third
in.
one though,
They have a health.
free.
They have a health thing right. The health center right there. They could have used.
Maybe it was closed. You don't
Maybe.
know. Maybe they
That's
took
true.
the day off.
Maybe it's
Maybe
true.
they were on the shuttle.
Could be. Either way, I digress.
I'm
Very
right about that third
angrily.
one.
I'm very angrily digressing. I think she's got good. She's probably got good health insurance as an FBI agent. I'm betting she has good health
Okay,
insurance.
PLD, good health insurance versus free. I'll wait.
Free health insurance that gives you an aneurysm.
Okay, but that was it was it's too stupid to talk about. It's too stupid. That's not how.
Listen, you can say anything you want about being stupid, but we know that Erica doesn't trust them for that reason. So why would she bring him up to the mothership to get his head checked on by visitors who are doing bad things to the human body that she knows?
Well, she didn't know that.
She doesn't know about Chad specifically,
Yeah.
but she knows they're doing bad things. She suspects them of something. She doesn't like the visitors, and she's going to trust them with her son. Her son.
Okay, but PLD, have you been to the normal human paid for healthcare?
Yes.
I'm just saying, free still wins.
Not if they're going to do damage to you, though.
But they're not doing damage. They're just implanting you with a microchip or something. That's fine. Dogs get it done all the time. Your dog isn't chipped. My dog's chipped.
You are hilariously, yes, I get what you're doing, and it's a good bit to have, but I digress again. Angrily digress. I strenuously digress.
We're on topic though.
Our viewers are either going to love this episode of us, or they're going to absolutely hate it, and I'm interested to see what they say.
I wasn't lying when I said I took a shot of espresso before this.
Either way, we get up to the ship, and Anna and Erica have their little tete-a-tete about motherhood, including the barbed, you would do the same for my kids. And she's like, you would save my kids kind of thing. As we know, Erica had blew up her kids. I did actually appreciate that line and that little back and forth between Anna and Erica.
I definitely remember it. I watched it. I saw it happen. I listened to it. I retained it in my memory. And
that's good for
the hair.
That's good for the show, though. The fact that you retained it, that's something.
Yeah, that's true. Considering I watched The Legend of Billie Jean earlier, so.
All right. Well, we got a couple of things we can do before we wrap this up. Dr. Watts.
We
actually never met Dr. Watts. We met Sidney Miller, who's the other guy. Dr. Watts was the scientist who was perilously close to finding out what the Red Sky did. How? After 4 days, I have no idea. But it's the guy that basically Anna said Marcus was supposed to send somebody after, and the Resistance found out. I think it was Lisa who told Erica about it. And they go to track down Marcus. They try to track down the scientist. They come up with Sidney Miller, who I believe is his student.
Brad from Grounded for Life, who I love.
Yes, I knew you'd love him. I saw him like that's. The funny thing is, I saw that actor and went, "This is someone Lego loves." I can tell.
Yes, he reminds me very much of Dustin Milligan.
Yes, that's who he reminds me of. I was watching and kind of like someone came to mind. I couldn't think of
Discount Hot Frosty.
Oh God, yes, you're right. So they give us that. So we have Sidney Miller, who has done some scientific research supposedly on the Red Sky, but we really find we don't really talk much about the Red Sky. Instead, we talk about the visitor's skeleton that he has collected and has been kind of experimenting on. And once again, I have to say, and this is me blasting, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, Ryan is right there. Erica even points it out by saying, enough about this visitor. Let's talk about this visitor. Why? Ryan's a much better test subject for our new scientist guy to work on.
I wasn't quite sure what he did or why it was important. Something about phosphorus, something about they've been here for a while. Literally
Right.
all things Ryan knew.
There's nothing out there. He doesn't know the technical aspects about. I don't even know, honestly, either. Some of the chemical, it's the scientific stuff that I guess Ryan doesn't have great knowledge on, the scientific stuff. But you're right. Visitors have been around for a while. We
But
knew
we
that.
already knew that.
Right. We knew that. The phosphorus stuff, which Ryan at least could have guessed, if nothing else. Um, I don't know. I like the
But we
idea of
knew
having a
that they
scientist in the
needed
team.
phosphorus for people to get pregnant.
Right. But I don't know if Ryan understood that was part of the plan. And here's part of the problem again going into this. If Anna's plan included breeding as part of the plan, shouldn't Ryan know that?
Like, what was his mission?
I don't know. We don't
And I
know.
feel like we should know. Like,
I
I feel
know,
like that's the
yeah.
first thing Hobbs would have said. Okay, give us the lowdown.
Right. And we
What
should.
were you sent here to do?
You have been here for years before the visitors. You were involved in resistance movements before anybody else even showed up, back with Georgie and stuff. You should know at least. We know that Anna didn't just
Yeah, like
go,
what
here you go.
what was your original mission? What
Right.
information did you give them? How did you transmit that information?
Right.
How have they
Well,
contacted
the
you?
ball. It was the ball. That's how he
Oh my
transmitted
god.
information. It was the marble or whatever. But right,
But I
exactly.
mean, these are just obvious questions that they as freedom fighters or whatever should have been
Right.
asking Hobbs specifically because he would know. So would Erica, I feel like. But I
Yeah,
feel like as audience members, we should also have been privy to by this
exactly.
point.
Like they're trying to kind of do the Willie thing, because Willie was just a worker and didn't have information or whatever, and that's kind of fine. But
But we still need him to say that.
right, and that's the thing too is, but just a worker wouldn't have been sent in advance and as a not a sleep, even if he's I don't
I
know if
mean,
he's a sleeper
I
agent,
could
but
see it as not necessarily like a cultural attaché, but like someone to learn the
study humans.
language and culture.
If that's all, exactly? That takes one line of dialogue. Why? So you were sent here to do what? I studied your culture. I was here to study your culture and learn about humanity and give that information to the visitors. That makes sense, and it's not an issue anymore. And if that's like the limit of your stuff, and you don't know the scientific words wise, and you don't know the mission, you can say, I am not privy to the mission. I am privy only to the fact that I was sent here to infiltrate and to study and give information back to Anna. As to what Anna wants, I don't know. I think it's something sinister, but I can't tell. That actually makes sense. I think that's what they're supposed to be going for. I really do think that's what the idea is here, but it's not spelled out. So we shouldn't have to make that assumption because it's not a lot of dialogue either. It would be a quick thing to say. It's like not like, uh,
And it should have happened when they met.
right, exactly, right away, not season 2 when you've been around for a while. And the worst part about that, again, like I said, it happened. Okay. We are in season 2 now. I can't change what happened in season 1. We shouldn't keep doing stuff to point out that fact. Like we see Sidney Miller with Visitor Skeleton, and we keep going. And Ryan is there with them on screen. Like if I could almost, I still couldn't, but at least Ryan should not have been on that mission. Like so, like it was just
Yeah,
Hobbs
there's
and
so much of
Erica.
stuff that like when they discover it and it's really important, but it's like, but Ryan's right there. So why is this even a discovery? This is stuff he should know.
And if you want to getting Sidney Miller on board with the team, great idea. Let's get a scientist on board. We should have a scientist on board in this kind of case. And then he signs and go, oh, great, Ryan, come with me. I'd love to learn about you and figure out what's going on more. Let me take some tests and figure out what's going on. That makes sense going forward, but we don't even have that. We have this we have half a skeleton that you can look at. Right.
But what's the point of looking?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All right. All right. I think we
I
have
wanted to
one
go
last
walk
thing.
back out into the snow.
We have one last thing to talk about before we finish out the episode. I think that's it. I think we got everything else out of the way. The return of Jane Badler as Diana. Wow, I don't know if I can see your eyes roll back in your head anymore. I want you to have the first word on that.
I mean, she's stunning.
Yep.
And that's all I got. She walked out from behind a thing. I don't know what it was. The dead alien babies or something. I wasn't paying enough attention. It looked like some kind of cargo. And she was just there. And she's Anna's mother, which I already guessed because it's just very obvious.
Right. What else you know? Is that? Let me ask you that. As a storyteller, is that a bad thing to make her mother?
No, because we already have this very clear thematic through line about motherhood. So I think that logically does make sense.
I was good with that too. I was kind of curious if there's anything you said. So a lot of times I'm good at stuff and you're like, you point something out. And I'm like, you're right. Like that does make sense. I like Jane Butler being back. I think she is looking stunning, especially however many years later it is. 95, 25 years later or so, give or take. And she looks stunning. She comes out, has her, like she never left the set. Has the big hair, has the not the frown, but the nothing grimace, but like just the serious face. But I do find it weird. This is the kind of thing I was talking about, though, as far as the human meat suit thing. Well, she feels like she's down in this like out of the way area. So what does she need a meat suit for at this point? Unless she has to breathe with it. I'm happy she's back though.
So it's like a space suit?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they
I feel like we've had this exact same conversation.
And we have deleted it from our mind. We've been like Joshua. That could be. Absolutely could. I don't know. All I know, I will say I'm happy to have her back in any capacity because at least she's someone to like kind of go, oh, let's see what happened with her. That's it. I mean, she's only in it for 2 seconds. I can't really judge anything about her in this role yet, based on this episode alone.
I mean, you say this role, is it a continuation, essentially?
I'm going to say,
like, is she different?
She is different. This is not, it has to be.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
And here's the worst part about it. How can you bring her back? They call her, I mean, they didn't say it in this, but I'm going to tell you, they call her Diana. That is her name. And it's not, again, it can't be a continuation because otherwise.
I don't mean like a literal continuation, but I mean like, is she basically playing personality wise?
Again, it's been a while. I feel like it's pretty close, but it's if that character was more defeated after, it always feels like it is a continuation in like a sense of like, let's say our Diana from 85 got beaten down and deposed and was like now kind of just living life still, no longer in charge. That's how she plays it, which is fine. I guess it's a kind of a way, it's a choice to play it that way. It makes sense for her to play it that way because you're going to be called Diana, you might as well be Diana. But we'll get there. We will get there for sure. Story-wise, this might be the highlight of her story.
Erica was actually the star child, and she had Tyler with Kyle. My headcanon, all this.
It all comes back. It all comes back. Somehow we were all Joshua.
So at the end of the show, a little boy shakes a snow globe. And it's all been in his imagination the whole time.
And that boy is Sean Donovan. Who? I know. I did it for you. Lego, where can the folks find you?
You can find me at Lego Rants on YouTube or The Unhinged Binge on YouTube and Instagram. I sometimes talk about movies and stuff, but it takes me a real long time to do a really long 40 plus page script sometimes. So, watch the video I did or listen to. It's also available on audio. Like the 2+ hours I did on the slasher evolution. They got me really obsessed with Hicksploitation because I didn't even know that was a thing. Like I vaguely knew it was a thing, but I learned the term for it. So I'm like, oh, now I really understand it as a component of American storytelling in this very like niche time period that was very interesting.
I will definitely push you to listen to her material as well. It is very good, very intelligent. It is very intelligent. It is very much iconic. Like you will learn something. You will absolutely learn something.
Like exploitation is a thing.
Exploitation is a thing. You can find me on Paul News on the old Blue Sky. This is where I am now. You can find me all over this podcast, this channel. This is my name is on the tin, as Matty Gunner says. Here is our updated schedule. We have a little bit of change. We are doing Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6 is now the 28th because PJ Campbell's birthday is today when I'm recording this. So happy birthday, PJ Campbell. So he was not going to be able to watch the movie before this Tuesday's initial recording session. So we pushed it back a week. And we're going to do Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare on the 28th. Of course, we're doing a review. Let's see there. The next one we're going to do is next week. We're going to be doing the second episode of season 2. Wow, this is a 4 review episode month. I love that. We're going to really get through this thing. Class Action Live, Empire Strikes Back versus Dune 2, Crown Jewels, the Queen podcast I do every week, and Holy Snokes, our Star Wars podcast. Skeleton Crew is now over, and it was a great fun show. We did love it on Holy Snokes. I'm going to go through some other stuff now as we build up towards Andor Season 2 and Celebration in April. For sure, we got more content coming then, and I'll talk a little minor announcement. We were talking before the show. Obviously, we have 9 episodes left now for season 2, which means we are moving on. We do have the audio show coming out. We are going to cover the old books and comics. We're talking about the files we have of those. And the comics will probably keep us going as far as on a regular basis. Those are quicker, easier reads, easier reviews. The shows will probably be a little shorter because you can review an hour-long show for so long, a 20-page comic versus whatever. That's a little different. For the books, it might be interesting because it might take us a little longer to read the book potentially. So we might fill in the gaps and maybe do another show. Maybe we can even make it a review-related show while we wait, and so do ranking show or a review V inspired or V something
Independence Day.
We could do something like that. Absolutely stuff like that. As kind of like the in between, something we could do to keep the show going consistently while we're reading the book material, for example. Even though they are quick reads, I don't want to promise anything until we get there. So let's say. But yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back next week with the second episode of season 2. More Jane Badler. So we'll stay tuned for that, of course. As always, right then, folks.